Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to come at you guys because, frankly, I have found myself in a very weird position right here. So, as I stand, if I walked any more that direction, I would be farther away from any human that I've ever been in my entire life, well, as I'm standing here right now. It's really weird feeling like I've driven on roads where you're like out in the middle of nowhere and like it goes on for miles and miles, but like there's always some car that you can see in the distance or something, and usually you can see it. It's less than, 10 miles out or something like that. Here I am far. Like I don't know exactly how far I am out, but like from the nearest car driving on a road, probably like 30-40 miles. Which is just really weird because I live in Florida, so it's just oddly positioned that I'm always near someone when I'm out somewhere. And this is not a good place. Like, I am in the swamp right now. So I just wanted to come at you guys and just be like, yeah, this is kind of an odd experience that I'm in right now. And like, there's a field behind me, probably like a mile back, that is just this massive expanse. Like, you cannot see the other side. It is just, as someone that lives in Florida, it's a little bit odd to like, just be so far out, so disconnected, but it's nice. Like, there's just nothing out here. It's kind of weird, but it's also like kind of relaxing at the exact same time. But yeah, I'm out here with the Medusa. I just got this thing not too long ago, and my goodness, I am just loving this knife. There is so far no better balance that I have felt, only matched by my Koenig V2. The Koenig V2, if you don't know, it has adjustable weights in the handles, so you can swap them out with like the heavy. They got like a heavy, medium, and then like a light one. You can also make your own. I mean, like I'm pretty sure you could make one out of tungsten, like a large one, and throw it on in there, and it would be like the most handle bias knife of all time. But only that gets close to this because of the adjustable weights. It is my favorite trainer by far. I think if Fellowship Blades did make a trainer blade for this, I probably would consider buying an entire other knife just to have a trainer blade as well. Just describing how good this knife is. That's the best way that I can. And it is very windy out here, my goodness. But by the time this goes up, the Empress will have dropped and everyone will have gotten their orders in. And that is quite exciting because it's weird to get these kind of in-between knives. The ones that aren't like 300, 200, 300, so that crack-a-rackin' range. And then it's below like that NAMI range. So it's kind of like this nice mid-range where you still get some aspects of a custom knife, like the milling lines in this thing are just absolutely beautiful. The handles are perfectly balanced. Good materials all around, but it's weird to see one where you get all of that good stuff, but it's not that handcrafted, hand-milled price that you really get into. So I think it's really cool that Squid is actually about to get into this category, especially with their the Hydro and the Madco. So it's actually going to be really exciting to see some of their lineup in this price range of not super expensive, where you could almost just round up to $1,000, but you can't just round down to like 100 or 200. It's going to have like the good materials. It's going to have the good steel. It's going to have everything that you want and some really sweet design while still having that price point. So I'm really interested to see like what they come up with. I didn't go to Blade Show last year. I was still pretty new into Balisongs around that time, so it just wasn't worth the trip for me. But now that I'm a little bit more in the community and a little bit more knowledgeable, at least about what I flip and what I talk about, and with knives, I actually think I might start going. If you don't know, I did actually used to sell knives. I used to work retail. I worked in a gun shop mainly, but then I worked at a knife counter for a while, so I sold a bunch of knives and got to play with a bunch of them, but we never carried any like Balisongs out the front. they were pretty basic knives. Like it wasn't anything crazy. So just to get into knives now and then start learning about the community, it has honestly been a lot of fun. So I've just kind of found myself in this position. I started out with like one of those bare bones, terrible trainers. I mean, they were absolutely horrible. So I had that. I didn't even know there was a Balisong community to begin with. I started that back in like 2008, 2007. No, 2009. Meet the Spy came out. And that is when I got my first Balisong. I was like really interested in it. And my dad didn't know, but he kind of got me one from like a flea market, or like someone had it as like a promotional item at their work and they gave it out. It's a weird story behind how it came in my possession, but I flipped that thing from 2009 all the way up till like, I want to say 2020. I didn't even know that there was a Balisong community, had no idea that people were making videos on it, no clue. So to go from not knowing anything about the community to now like being in all these Discord chats, and I'm like talking with people in the industry, and I'm like, do I want to buy, and I'm actively thinking about buying knives, and now that I have a Medusa in my hands, I would have never thought. But so far they come out with Fellowship Blades came out with the Empress, and everyone got their hands on that, and I say everyone got their hands on that. They made like a couple of them, and they just released them. I know that Ethan runs the channel Camaro EE, and Blade Bias recently got the new Empress with that big kukri style blade, and it is just absolutely beautiful, and I cannot talk enough about how beautiful that knife is. It is not particularly my style. I'm more of a kind of straight edge face guy, and then you got kind of that nice little cutting edge right here. So since I use my knife more for utility purposes, I like just being able to sharpen a nice flat surface, and having kind of a curved surface, it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt to kind of sharpen that, but it's got that nice cutting point right there that you can really, so when I cut, I kind of put my finger like up on the crown, and I cut mainly on that edge. That's going to be my actual cutting point. So it's nice to have a nice flat edge to lead into that, to really get it to a nice point down. But if you're wondering how to cut things with a Balisong, this is mainly how you want to do it. Hold the knife, finger on the crown, or like if you just got a flat or like a Bowie, just put it up there, right where it gets kind of thick, you know, right on that swedge, and then you can really kind of operate it. If you hold it back here, you don't have much utility with it. It's just too far out. But the closer that you get your hand towards that blade and that finger up on closer to the tip, that's where you get a lot of utility. That's why a lot of those box cutters, the blades are so short, and like the overall length is short, and the handles are super high up, because you get all that use out of it, a lot more leverage to put into things, versus if you're all the way back here, you don't really have much. So that's just one thing about Balisongs, if you didn't know utility wise. But this is going to be a utility knife. I mean, don't cringe, but like, well, that was easy. Is there like something beefier? Sure. Like, I mean, yeah, I trust this knife now. My goodness. All right. So yeah, if you didn't know, this is like actually like strong wood. This is actually from the base of these palm trees. So yeah, this thing is going to be used as a utility knife. I swear, like, yeah, I'm gonna get it anodized and polished up, but with it being titanium and S35 VN, besides dropping it, like actively throwing it on concrete, nothing should really hurt this blade, and really nothing should hurt these handles. The blade, if you really dropped it on the tip, you might tip it, but I mean, it's S35 VN. It's actually pretty strong steel, so I'm not too worried about that, and plus I'm never going to flip this thing over concrete at all. I probably will drop it on gravel. That's just going to be the most painful thing I do in my entire life. But as far as just dropping this thing here in the mud, you know, you can always take it apart. You can always clean it out. It will never, well, that's the problem. It could see salt water, but it's also rated for salt water with the materials. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. My basis is keep everything away from salt water. And if you have a cheaper knife, keep it away from fresh water without a doubt. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring you guys out here to take a look at kind of the absolute middle of nowhere. Like, that is a swamp, and that is as far down as I can go on this trail. So it actually is a little bit sketchy flipping something this sharp, this far out, but it is what it is, especially when it's this good. So take care, y'all. Have a great evening or morning or whatever time it is for you. I hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you all very much.